Hello. Welcome to Dead Faith, put on by Detect Nerd. I am your dungeon master for this little adventure. My name is Chris Dijak. And...
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Colter.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, hello.
Hi. Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hey. I didn't see you guys there.
Oh, we're also in this room.
And today we'll be playing through a spooky little game for you. Do we want to go around the table and just say who we all are? Starting with the man with the fake teeth.
That's me. My name is Colter Janssen, and I will be playing Leofric Blackwood.
I'm Elizabeth Keach, and I'll be playing Detective Sylvia Hawthorne.
I'm Doug Miller, and I'll be playing Dr. Horace Nightplum.
I am Jay Sparks, and I'll be playing Orwell Blackwraith.
Okay. Now that we have all the names and introductions, everything's situated, except for my tongue. Let us delve into this little story. We're going to start in a little seaside town known as Gullman's Port. It is a relatively small population of just a couple thousand people. All hardworking fishermen, local farmers, that sort of thing, very agrarian. But that's not where we're going to start. We're going to start in the small, cozy little office of one Dr. Horace Nightplum. Nightplum?
Plum.
Plum.
Without the B on the end.
Plumb.
Plumb.
Plumba.
And what do you think this office looks like, Doug?
Well, I suppose it's not a very large place. It's only needs to house myself and my assistant, Agnes. I suppose a smaller desk for her, and then maybe a private small office for me in the back, where I can meet with customers in privacy.
What does it smell like?
It smells like wood and dust, the sea.
Maybe a bit of whale oil. Keep things lit.
Wow.
I think that would be the last thing that Dr. Nightplum would have in his office would be whale-derived light. I would say he might smoke a pipe.
And why is it that Dr. Nightplum would have such an aversion to whale oil? What does this gentleman look like?
You bring up a very good point. Dr. Nightplum is a whaleman. That is to say, his heritage through some unknown means is derived from the whales, and so he looks much like a sperm whale. And there's no need to titter at the word sperm. It was totally a misnomer applied to whales, but he looks as though he's a anthropomorphic whale.
Excellent.
Dressed much as I am today.
All right. And it is through your doorway to the private section of your office that you can hear sort of the faint, distant conversation of Agnes speaking to someone who just walked in. A bit of low tones, and you hear oh yes, of course, let me go see if the doctor's in. And there is a on your door.
Yes, what is it?
Good doctor, Mr. Hodge is here to collect you.
Hodges, you say?
Hodge.
Hodge. One Hodge.
Shall I let him in?
Show him in, of course.
course.
At once.
And with this, the door to your office swings open, and you see a very burly-looking dwarven gentleman who is stuffed into a very fancy suit. The only parts of him showing his hands have tattoos on the knuckles. That's a quick crying. He misspelled crying to make it fit. Yeah, I saw you counting.
Wait, what does it say on it?
Quit crying.
Quit crying?
Yeah, CRYN.
Oh my god.
I thought you said an extra finger.
Is this an AI dwarf? Does he have many fingers?
He's not an AI dwarf.
Hodges, come in. So good to see you again.
Hodges.
Hodge, so good to see you again. I'm sorry.
It's quite all right, Doctor. Of course. Just came to collect you. We are expected down at the docks to meet the specialist that B&H is sending.
Oh, of course, of course. I'm sorry, I lost track of the time.
Of course. Well, that's why I'm here. Keep everything on schedule.
Yes, we operate at a much slower pace normally here in Gullman Port.
I'm very aware. Well,
Let me gather my things and let's head down to the dock.
and he sort of looks at his wrist where there is no watch, or pulls out his pocket watch as you sort of collect your things. You can tell he's ready to go and just sort of waiting on you.
Many things slipped my mind. I'm sorry.
Of course. Well, let us get down there then. And as you guys proceed down to the dock, we are going to cut over to someone else. Where's Orwell this morning?
In transit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. On vacation.
Of course.
Yes.
Out seeing the scenes, maybe taking a walk dockside, looking out at the waves, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so. It's very much really trying to get the blood pressure down. Blood pressure needs to be down.
Blood.
All right. I don't think you had blood.
That's why it needs to be down.
There's a big problem. If there's any blood pressure whatsoever, something is wrong.
Yes.
But yeah, why doesn't Orwell have blood? What does Orwell look like?
Orwell is a Warforged, an early model, so still kind of bulky in places, not super aerodynamic, but well kept. Dresses fairly nicely for how he is, even though he's on vacation. But has an air of something else going on, as people on vacation here in this quiet town might realize that not from around here, and carries himself in a very different way.
Of course. And it is while you're going on this morning constitutional, it's taking a pleasant walk down by the waterside. And before you know it, just the edges of your vision begin to darken, just slightly. Continue to walk, and it's almost like the surroundings begin to melt away. You've had this experience once or twice before. You know, if you just keep walking, it tends to get you where you need to go. And before you know it, you are surrounded by this darkness. You can still see the sort of cobblestones beneath your feet, or feel them, I suppose. And before too long, you are in front of a large round table with one shadowed figure sitting. Leans back as Orwell. How's the vacation find you?
This is not normally how I enjoy brunch, but this is unexpected.
I understand. It's just the strange happenstance of where you find yourself. When did you land on Gullman's port?
Seemed out of the way. Seemed like no one would notice me here. Apparently I was wrong.
Well, you know I with you wherever you go.
Yes, I know.
Well, something I need to ask of you.
Yes.
See, there's going to be an opportunity presenting itself soon. I need you to take it. I know you've always been a bit opportunistic, so I have faith that you'll follow through with this, but just wanted to touch base and make sure we were both on the same page.
Well, I appreciate that.
Of course, I always like to check in with my associates. Well, enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Good day.
And you turn and begin walking away from the table. And as you do, all of this darkness once again recedes from your vision. You find yourself walking down the same dock, the same pier that you were before, in the same direction. And that is when you see two figures you recognize. One man named Horace Nightplume, and the man walking lockstep with him, who you know as Bill Hodge. You'd say he was a former work associate from back home. And as you both approach, he... as you attempt to see them, are you trying to hide yourself, or do you approach?
No, I mean, if we're walking together, they're, sharing a path, and I'm not going to attempt to hide.
Do I see? Are we like coming?
Yes,
Same
you
direction?
guys are walking same direction.
Okay.
And it is not long before you recognize a very familiar-looking Warforged person. And William Hodge looks quite curiously at you and says, Orwell Black Wraith.
Mr. Hodge.
What are you doing here?
I was looking for a good tattoo parlor. Do you know of one?
None around these parts. Afraid you'll have to go back home if you want something nice and well done.
Not in any hurry for that.
I assume not.
Yes, very good.
You hear this sound, this sound as Horace Nightplum, who's been trying to contain himself, his face is trembling with rage. He spouts out this blowhole between his shoulder blades, spouts in frustration, says, "You! How dare you come to my town? What are you doing here?"
Well, the brochure looked very nice.
Where's Hawthorne? Is she with you? What kind of scheme is this?
Hawthorne? Why you got to bring up old stuff?
Where's Hawthorne? You know each other? What's the meaning of this?
I am on vacation, good sir.
Liar.
Name me a liar.
Yes. You know this man.
Yes. Fleetingly from I guess you'd call it a past life. You knew Bill Hodge. When you knew him, they called him the Bill. And the running joke was anytime the bill came due, people tended to pay. He was not known for being very gentle with many of his clientele, but was definitely in the same business that you were.
Well, Horace is going to say, I'm afraid we have business elsewhere, but I hope not to see you by tomorrow. And starts walking towards the docks.
It is a very short walk. You guys are at the dock.
I walk very dramatically 2 paces.
Yes, you walk
2 feet.
You walk about you walk about 15 feet down the dock
In a huff.
in a huff. And as you do approach, you see two people getting off the boat. Both of which you recognize.
I told you were a liar. There she is right now.
And it is indeed walking down the gangplank, or the boarding ramp. I don't know what it's called.
Should have done your research. No, I'm just kidding. Boardwalk, right? What is it called? Oh, the thing that comes
Yeah, the boarding.
comes down from the ship,
Boarding,
or
yeah,
they put
the
on
ramp.
the ship.
I think we get the idea.
You
Don't
float
need a
down.
name for it. Yeah.
It's a ramp. Proceeding down the ramp. Who do we see?
You see Sylvia Hawthorne. She is a tabaxi. She's about 4'3". She's a little older, maybe middle-aged, 44. Tan with red and brown spots. She has very, very piercing ice blue eyes. As she's walking down, you can kind of see she does have a small docked tail. It's military docked. It's when she was in the military, she had to cut it off. Yeah, you see her. She's carrying like a bag, like a medicine bag, and she's got a whip on her side. She looks kind of put together, but she's got some. She was just traveling, so she's got like ruffles in her shirt and kind of some stains. You're not sure what that's from, but yeah, that's who you see. Cat lady.
And
I think she's walking. Are we on the same? Are we?
yes, you
I
both,
think she's walking on purpose in front of Leofric. Just very purposefully walking in front of him.
And all right. And who is this gentleman that?
Walking a few steps behind is a man named Leofric Blackwood. Leofric stands at about 6 foot tall. He has a wiry but muscular build. He is dressed in cloak and nice Victorian garb with kind of a gothic theme to it. A lot of black, but with nice accents to it. Seems very handcrafted, like he cares about his appearance, but he seems well put together, nicely trimmed mutton chops, of course.
Of course.
And he has very distinct purple eyes, which are very intriguing, and they kind of stand out about him. But he is at this point he is a few steps behind. He has a somewhat annoyed look on his face, but he's just trying to take in the scenery, and seems very observant. He's just kind of taking in all of what he sees at the moment. So.
All right. And you do in fact see these two, as well as a dwarven gentleman who you have no clue who he is. But this dwarven gentleman does approach Sylvie and say, Miss Hawthorne, so happy to see you. So happy to see
Good
you
day.
had a safe trip over.
It's well enough, I suppose.
So, of course, you know Dr. Nightplum.
Hawthorne, I hope you are well.
Nightplum.
That's it.
That's it. That's all I'm gonna say to him.
Mr. Hodge picks up on that tension.
You will remember this.
Remember. It is not long before his gaze does turn to Leofric, as he's sort of standing with the group, or with Hawthorne. Says, you here with this one?
No.
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 No. Well,
You don't have to say it like that. Yes. No.
working. Yeah.
It's okay. Take
Do you
your
want
time.
to say it? Or,
The question was asked of me, so.
Because-
Yes.
I was
no,
also involved in the question, but sure.
We do have, not necessarily past, but we know of each other, and seems we are here for similar reasons.
Well, I can't say I'll.
Out of game. Do I know if he's working on this case too as well?
No. He
I
seemed
don't
to
know. Okay.
offer up his services, sort of out of the blue.
To me, though.
Yes.
Okay. He's
And-
the help.
He's an associate that you have brought along as a specialist in the occult.
So these two are also to be involved in this case.
Why, yes. Sylvia is who we are here to meet.
I didn't realize she would be the one.
Well, you only the best.
Oh, my apologies, Doctor. I thought old B&H would have given you a heads up on that
Oh,
one.
B&H. Sure.
Sadly, they did not. It comes as a surprise to me. I know that Hawthorne is quite brilliant in matters. Well, so you have arranged this?
Yes, and this is probably about midday. You know that you guys are not leaving for Holmethile until tomorrow.
Okay.
So you do have about a night to sort of congeal.
Is that a whale joke?
Congeal? Do whales congeal?
Well, whale oil in the process of candle making can indeed congeal.
Hodge looks at the four of you sort of collected here and says, I suppose if we have the evening to sort of collect ourselves here and maybe speak about what we're here to find, we can go down to the Silken Sow, perhaps grab a drink, bite to eat. I'm sure you're both very hungry from the trip. Maybe perhaps discuss what our trip may look like.
Quite.
The more information, the better. That's what I always say.
That's why we hired you, Miss Hawthorne.
Indeed.
Is this like an excursion? Can I add this onto my vacation?
Did you hire this man? Or is he just tagging along?
Admittedly, Dr. Nightplum, I had no idea that Orwell.
Oh, well, why don't you tag along? You're always a little useful in certain situations.
I would love to. This sounds
Wonderful,
exciting. I
wonderful.
don't even know. This is great.
I mean, I do just need to clarify. B&H is only paying for Miss Hawthorne to be
Of course.
Pay.
here.
I'm
All right,
sure.
as long as
Sure, as you see, he's well. He's got his own means.
I'm well aware.
Yes.
As I'm sure you're aware of how the last case ended up that involved the four of us together.
Ended up great.
For some,
Yes.
For most.
Say 3 out of 4 worked out great. Majority wins.
Is that how that works?
I don't know.
well, to the Silken Sow.
Yes. Perhaps we all. It seems as though we all may need a bit of a drink.
Yes, I could
Yes,
use
better-
a drink.
Better food than the ship, that's for sure.
Certainly. All right. And you guys all proceed to the only real inn tavern here, the Silken Sow. And it is quite cozy for being in a small port town. There are what look to be large, a lot of it's very, nautical pastiche inside. We see large fish mounted on plaques that have clearly been preserved and sort of put up as decoration rather than to be eaten. There's the smell of cooking stew that this place is known for. Being in close proximity to Holmeth Isle, they have very easy access to the thin fin tuna that seem to spawn there. It is quite a well-known delicacy around here.
My favorite.
You haven't had it yet.
tuna.
Ah, cat. Okay.
There's more coming, everybody.
Catch
All
them.
right.
Just kidding.
So you guys grab a small table in a corner. And as you snap, the waitress turns around, and as she turns, you recognize who she is. This young woman's name is
Hello there, dear. It's so good to see you again.
maybe not for you.
Ooh.
An old flame.
Beatrice Gordon. She is the widow of Mason Gordon,
What did you do?
who, you know what? I won't give up that ghost.
Yeah, I'm.
She is, and as she turns,
Yeah, maybe I didn't recognize who it was at first, and then she turns around and my face just falls.
Did you say Beatrice what?
Gordon?
Gordon.
Can I do a perception check or an insight check on?
Sure.
On who? It's going to be a low DC.
First roll.
Or her? Or
Because I'm like I
Just
look-
roll. Hey, I'll tell you what. You can just roll, and I'll give you some insight into the situation, maybe.
15?
15? Okay, so as you can tell, as she turns and because she hears the customer snapping, she knows what that means. She already has half an eye roll going as she turns, sees who it is snapping, and her face just goes cold. There is some of the deepest resentment there that you've ever seen. As she approaches, you do see that she stuffs a lot of that down as she approaches your table. Anything you'd like to add for what flashes across Horace's face in this moment?
No. I mean, just a look of like kind of horror, and then I guess he'll try to pull himself back together. Out of game. How long ago have things transpired?
Oh, probably 3 months.
Okay. I'm sorry to snap at you, Beatrice. So I have some guests,
I know you're a busy man, Dr. Nightplum.
some business guests from out of town. I'm sure they would enjoy some bouillabaisse, some of your specialties.
Oh, they're not my specialties. They're the house specialties. I just taken on the waitressing position here to help pay the bills, as it were.
Quite.
So what can I get you all? And she's brought all of you sort of like water. She says, of course, the thain fish stew is on the menu. It is quite good. We have others, or other meals. We have some roast duck, I believe. So we have some nice fresh sourdough bread loaf.
I'll just take stew and a coffee, please.
Stew and
Black.
coffee.
I'll take my usual calamari and some cognac.
Calamari and cognac, of course.
The stew is excellent. I'll have some more.
And is this where I'm assuming this is kind of where this is where you would have to have been staying.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you know this woman, she's always been you can tell she has a lot going on, but she's always been very pleasant.
So this is new.
This is the first time you've seen her like stare daggers at somebody before.
Got it.
And you, love?
The roast duck would be lovely.
Excellent. Of course. All right. I will be right back with all that. Oh, and just looks at Mr. Hodge and he says, "I'll just have an ale, big breakfast." And she proceeds to go and get all that for you.
Well, so what's
That was awkward.
Absolutely, it was awkward.
Well, she was recently widowed, and
Hodge is looking at you like, because he knows too.
oh, he knows. He would know.
Yeah, he knows.
Well, I'm afraid it was a very unfortunate situation where her husband became deceased. He held a life insurance policy with Baxter and Hornigold. Unfortunately, the circumstances surrounding his demise did not trigger the correct policy guidelines in his life insurance, and so we had to decline payment to the family.
Death isn't just the...
It was a suicide.
That's pretty
There was some...
typical B&H.
Well, there was...
What was that, Miss Hall?
Oh, just commenting on insurance and things, and
It was rather frustrating because there were many elements which were unusual. He didn't seem the sort. He was just a normal fisherman.
was it properly investigated?
Yes. I mean, it was very clear.
Everything B&H does is very well investigated.
He seemed to grow distant over a period of time, and then
Case.
he just one day he went to the beach and walked out to sea and swam and never came back. His body washed ashore later, but there was no foul play. It seemed to be a clear case of suicide. I would have. It's put me in a very difficult position. I mean, these are my neighbors here, and to decline someone in the community their money, and they were whispering of all sorts of superstitious nonsense about.
Will you give me a perception check just real fast?
Perception check, yes.
You can all give me perception checks, actually.
I got an 8. I'm caught up in my story.
18 as I'm surveying the scene.
I got a 7.
14.
You two, as Dr. Nightplum is in the middle of the story, you two do see Beatrice approaching again with your drinks.
Superstitious about ghost lights and
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought I saw something on you, climbing on you.
Oh, hello.
So, yes.
Orders.
Apologize.
Okay. She comes up, sets down your drinks, sets yours down a little rough, just the slightest, one little drop of cognac, just out of the glass. Food will be right up for you. And she walks away.
But anyway, what is our business at hand?
Of course, you are going out to help us assess the damages to the ship,
Yes.
see exactly what this is going to cost B&H to get it fixed, and perhaps divine what mistakes the captain may have made, if any, that wound them there. And Miss Hawthorne, I understand
Yes.
you were there to simply confirm that this Alice Ramsey woman did in fact die at sea.
Indeed. Her sister is concerned. She's been missing. She was actually, I believe, she was seen on the island.
So say witnesses.
Right.
But eyewitness testimony can be so...
Absolutely. That's why I'm here. But remember seeing her on the island, but not. She's not one of the ones that made it back to the port. So I'm just gonna check it out, look around.
Yes, if I may, Miss Hawthorne, your expertise is... We are leaning on it to more rule out her continued existence rather than going on some ghost chase for a woman who likely died at sea.
We don't know what happened, so we'll get there when we get there.
You can make an educated guess, though, can't you?
Absolutely, I can. I like to have all the factors there, though, so just don't tell me I would do my job.
Well, we are paying you to do it, so.
That's absolutely true. That's actually true.
Out of game, real quick. What is my role in this?
You are effectively an assessor. You are the numbers
for the
guy.
ship?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Terrible radio. I was just gonna pour my drink as terrible radio sound. I'm not gonna do that. Sorry. Yeah, it sounded like pee when I was trying to do it. Sorry. Back in game.
Hawthorne pulls out her portable litter box.
I know, right? Ew, gross. Oh no.
One moment.
You're the of a cat screaming.
Oh
litter.
man. Don't mind me.
Oh, and this is horror.
Sure is.
All right. So, you guys, do you guys have any more questions for Mr. Hodge? And he says, and of course, I will be coming with you just to make sure B&H has proper eyes on everything. Not that I don't trust you, Doctor.
How long ago was the shipwreck?
Yes, Hodge, could you explain to the benefit of these two the circumstances of the shipwreck?
Oh, of course. The shipwreck, the Dead Faith, crashed ashore on Holmouth Isle about a month ago. It took us a couple weeks to get out there, get everyone sort of accounted for and brought back to the mainland here. But these two are proceeding out there to help assist us in assessing damages. I am a bit curious. I know you had already said, but why is it you're here again?
I find him useful in certain situations.
Right, that's right.
There may be some occultist involvement that I have a slight hunch about.
Cultists. Like magic.
Who's to
Magic.
say? I'm here for protection.
Protection. Alright. I can understand that.
Overall, it just something about this case piqued my interest, and I felt that my involvement was necessary.
So you're investigating yourself. Well, I suppose it couldn't hurt to have an extra pair of eyes and an extra set of able hands.
It should be a very simple case in that regard, as there is no such thing as magic.
Of course. I don't think we need to state that. But if we end up needing a seance or having to talk to a spirit, perhaps we can tap you for that.
Sure.
Bill is intentionally he will acknowledge Orwell when it is necessary, but is just so. Actually, go ahead and give me an insight check.
20.
20. Yeah, he has a good thing going here and sees you as the guy who could potentially ruin it. Maybe. You're an independent factor in this that he was not accounting for and is very taken aback by your presence here. But yeah.
Right. Well, an extra set of eyes is good, then 2 extra sets is great.
Yes, of course. Or well.
If you have to view him as a bodyguard, that's...
You have past prior... Well, of course. I'm sorry. I forget that fiasco. How could I forget?
Fiasco.
Fiasco.
Yes, no more bodies turning up at your feet, I suppose.
Does not appear so at this
Yes,
moment.
yes, quite cute Black Wraith. Right, well, there's one or two things that I must attend to. Suppose I'll leave you to your own devices. Of course, we have a room for you here, Miss Hawthorne. Suppose we can find something for you as well, Mr. Blackwood. Doctor, you have your residency here, and Orwell, I assume you're already all situated.
A
for the
beautiful
evening.
little bungalow off on the coast. It's wonderful.
Of course, yes. Buford's bungalow. Yes, he rents it out.
Oh, it is very nice, Buford's. It is.
It is. It's very nice. Privacy. Lots of privacy.
Very private indeed. Okay, so William Hodge stands up and leaves the silken cell. Is there anything you four would like to discuss amongst yourselves?
Well, I'm looking forward to very professional and swift investigation.
Everything I do is professional most of the time.
Is it, though?
It is. It's tinted with profession. Absolutely. Things that need to be done get done,
See, that's
and
the
things
issue.
work out.
Sure, we'll do this in the most right and proper way.
If signs point to things, and clues, and then we'll.
Follow facts. Follow
Right.
facts.
Right. So you're living in this area.
Oh yes, it's very lovely.
Is it?
It is. It's very quiet. The quiet coastal village, and
So they just gave you the old boot, huh?
well, it was. I was getting to my later years, and it was mutually beneficial to have someone manning these distant ports. Only a few years to retirement. Just what better way to run out the clock? And the villages here have been very, very welcoming to outsiders.
I see.
And
Well-
you've been well.
Well enough, yes. So this Alice Ramsey, did I fill him in at all about Alice Ramsey, do you think?
I leave that up to you.
Okay. I don't know that we talk much unless it's like business. I feel like I've told you some stuff, but I don't, he doesn't know.
I feel like I was mostly focusing on just the physical property of the ship and its cargo.
Right.
Even if you feel the need to fill me in again or give me a refresher.
Who is this Ramsey?
So, as far as I know, the profile on Alice Ramsey, female, 28, 5'8", chestnut hair, green eyes. No known aliases, as far as I know. She was traveling to Gullman's port to gain passage to Burnshire to visit her sister, Beatrice. Parents deceased, unmarried, and she's a seamstress. So that's all I know. And other than the rumblings of possibly survivors seeing her on the island, she was not, like I said, one of those among the survivors that came back to the port. So, I would really very much like to give Beatrice some closure and find out a little bit what happened to Alice.
Out of game. Not the same Beatrice.
Yes.
It's just a common name around here.
Oopsie! Everybody's named Beatrice.
Yep. Not every, just those two.
Can it just now? Every NPC's Beatrice now.
Yep. Every female NPC's Beatrice. Every male is William.
Yeah.
So she sounds like a wholly unremarkable person, except for the fact that she may still be alive.
Yeah. Little judgy, but yeah.
Yeah, it's quite.
But there was no sounds of scheming or intrigue or.
As far as I know, there wasn't any.
I have heard of cases of people, due to dramatic circumstances, losing the memory. Perhaps she wanders about the island not knowing who she is.
It's possible. I mean, the
It's
ship...
quite a leap in conclusion.
Well, it's just mentioning it's a possibility.
Who knows what happened?
Infinite possibilities at this point.
That's right, because we haven't really investigated.
No.
It's a lot of...
Thought we were trying to get the facts.
Yes, no, I'm just
like you now.
Indeed, I'm just trying to think of likely possibilities, and we can begin to rule them out one by one.
So she was on the ship that wrecked.
Yes, she was on the dead wave.
But she didn't come ashore, and she wasn't
Right.
like a dead person there.
No, right. But
And
there
actually,
are,
how many passengers died, like, say, proportionally? Or did anybody, or...
You would probably know that as the insurance guy, right? Would you not?
it was a very low percentage. It was like 10 or 12% of the actual passengers there, like on the ship, died.
Didn't
But
make it off.
Yeah. There was probably 100 passengers proper on board, and that makes the math easy.
100 passengers, 10 dead.
100 passengers, 10 dead.
Like,
Makes
I have a
numbers
ticket
work.
for this boat, please.
Right.
No.
No,
One.
we have to leave it at a solid 100. It's confusing when there's percentages.
Right, so that way people die and go off percent.
It's easier for us.
One of the abacus rods is bent. I can't.
I
Sorry.
can't.
Yes, so I would have known the casualties, but maybe not so much the intrigue about someone saying, "Oh, they're still alive."
Is the captain of the ship around? Or is he...
Do
I know that?
The captain of the ship did make it, but is no longer in town.
Okay.
A lot of the people who survived kind of like got to Gullman's port, and then kind of like went on their way.
That might... so are you investigating the shipwreck? And
Yes, just
how
the salvaging the ship, the cargo. That
wouldn't
sort
it
of
help
thing.
to maybe interview the captain or maybe some of the survivors of the ship to see what maybe actually happened on the shipwreck?
Have you done any actual work on this?
Well, of course, as you know.
Have you prepped it all?
Like I've just been like, what have I
Have you
done?
prepped it all?
Yes, there was talk of it was said that people mentioned blue lights.
That's nonsense.
They mentioned the ghost lights that
Ridiculous.
are occasionally seen off the coast of Holmouth Isle.
What was? Sorry, I was making fun of Doug.
But yeah, you did actually interview the captain. You spoke to a lot
Okay.
of people there.
Did he say he saw ghost lights?
Yes. And he sort of credited that with that he saw ghost lights and there was this dense fog, and then according to him, it was as if the island came out of nowhere and they ran ashore.
What did the other 89 surviving passengers say?
There was similar.
We have to go through every single
good
one.
one.
Yeah, so let's see.
Get all
Let
the
me get
The first one was
let me
Beatrice,
get the
of course.
list. Yes.
Beatrice, and Beatrice.
And then there was William. William and
B. She goes by B, though. She goes by B.
She's the fun, kooky one.
Yeah.
Trixie.
Yeah, there's a Triss and a Trixie. And...
Horror.
Yeah.
Horror. Can't break tension with comedy. Can't break tension with comedy. But yeah, there were a lot of similar stories of, not every person saw or saying ghost lights and fog, but those elements are present in most of a lot of the stories. Because, some people were below decks. Some people had no idea, some people were sleeping when this happened. So, yeah, that is one of the common threads amongst all of those interviewed, that a couple people mentioned ghost lights, and a bunch of other people said that, oh, it's just this heavy fog, and we ran aground out of nowhere.
So, do you suppose that if these interviews have already happened, Baxter and Hornigold would have just said it was the captain's fault, proceeded on their way, and that means, and I'm just there to physically see property values, assess those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then there's a strange case where somebody said that somebody was still alive. But in terms of what people said happened, we're like, well, clearly he's lying and it was his fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, the ghost lights are just superstitious nonsense. So.
There could be a scientific explanation for it.
Well, precisely. It's some sort of bioluminescence in the sea.
Reflections.
Yes. Well, they say they lure people to their death, or they flash when someone's about to die. But it's purely a natural phenomenon, I'm sure.
I'd like to see the ship.
Have you been to the ship?
No.
Not yet.
No. We interviewed the survivors and the captain here in Gullman's port. The authorities in Holmouth have secured the ship as best they could, and now it's our mission to go look at the ship itself.
At this point, Sylvia takes out her pocket watch.
And you said you weren't going to use props.
I know, right? And she looks at it, and she takes out a little, tiny little booklet out of her, and she just jots something down. You know, unless you do. Okay. She puts it back in her. Well, is there anything else that you feel I need to share about the investigation itself? Otherwise,
No, I will say, though, that we're heading out to the island tomorrow, and that
everybody's plans of action.
the villagers are there in the port are quite fine. They're just like the folks here in Gullman port, but there are some strange folk, strange religious sect who live out there. I don't quite know much about them.
How often have you been to the island?
I was there once.
Okay.
It's very pretty.
Do these folks have a name for their...
Oh, they do. And of course the name of the sect is...
They don't.
You had a 50-50 thing there.
No, they do worship. It is like an older god or goddess of the sea. She's known for. She was worshipped a long time ago by old sailors. She's not one of those mainstream gods. Mainstream.
Nice. Little water humor there for you.
Water humor. Conversation gets dry without it. Horror.
Yeah.
Horror.
We're easing our way into horror.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Gishala, the Lady of the Waves.
Gishala?
Yes, they don't have a name for themselves, but they are just a small group that worships Gishala.
Can I do a history check?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
glean some more info from... See if I know...
Well, this would
about
be
this,
religion if you're trying to know more about
religion?
Gishala. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'll tell you what. If you want to do history, you can do either. but
Either
they'll give
way,
you
it's
different
Can I chat
information.
with him to help?
Sure.
Kind of we're chatting about it.
Yeah.
See if-
just a little aside. Just
Little-
Alright.
What are you guys talking about over there?
Gishala.
That's going to be an 18
Hey-o.
Okay.
for religion.
Gishala was part of kind of like an older pantheon. She wasn't a goddess just unto herself. There was, she was the goddess of the waves, but they're gods of the sky, the land. She was part of an older pantheon that represented a bit more worship of like the primordial, I suppose. There were talks of almost Grecian, where they at certain points had to imprison or kill ancient beasts and titans and helped protect the young mortal races of the realms from the great monsters and creatures and beasts that lived out amongst our world. But as people spread and the unknown world kind of started to become smaller and smaller, those sorts of deities sort of fell away.
Became more mythology as we see it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do we know are these folks kind of worshiping in a way that like they aren't necessarily as advanced as the outside world, and so they've been kind of secluded, or have they sought this island to kind of like?
You don't know that one.
Don't know that yet? Okay.
Yeah. Once you talk to some of them village folk, you get some vibe checks there.
Okay.
Just give me all the answers right now, Chris.
No.
We don't even need to record the rest of the time.
Right. I'll tell you
Just
what.
let's get it all out on the table now.
You guys never have to leave the tavern. I'll tell you exactly what happens right now.
I knew this place seemed scary.
Okay. So,
Well, I should go close up the office, I suppose. If there's nothing else, I'll bid you farewell for the evening.
I'll pick up the tab.
I would think that B&H would pick up the tab.
you would think.
Let's just let Hodge handle it.
That is something that's common enough. William Hodge is
I'm not paying for it.
He doesn't live here,
I
but he
refuse.
just comes through here often
Yes.
enough. You can tell Beatrice to just put it on.
It's a business expense, yes.
Which one?
The one that
some
is
news about
here
your sister,
in
but
town,
also-
and not Alice's sister. You'll never meet Alice's sister. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
Side quest. We're going to Burnshire.
Yep.
Okay. So, you guys all proceed to get a nice, cozy little rest.
Yeah.
Recover all your hit points and spell slots that you used.
I actually had our rolls for which kit came out of my vest.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'll re-roll it for the morning.
You take your vest off and just a random toolkit falls.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, could have used that today.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay. So, as we enter the next morning, William Hodge once again comes and there's a familiar knock at. Are you at the office or?
Well, have we made arrangements to meet at the dock to depart? Or?
Oh yeah, I suppose I would. Yeah. William Hodge before he leaves says, we'll just convene at the docks at 8 in the morning. It will take a vast majority of the day to get to the island itself, but we should be in by early to mid-afternoon.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I will approach the dock. I'm now wearing a rather thick cloak for warmth. It'll be rather clammy on the way across. And I'm walking with a walking stick as a squid-handled walking stick. And I arrive at the destination.
Is it a live squid?
It's a very squishy live squid saying, "Please, no."
Stop squeezing me so much.
Sorry. That's what it sounded like. Oh, no.
All right. And as you approach the ship, it is aptly named the Squid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you see the captain is sort of a large, burlier-looking woman. She has sort of darker skin with sort of like really pretty golden hazel eyes. You can tell she's a bit older, maybe mid to late 40s. Her hair that is like dark and pulled back has a lot of gray to it. She's wearing a very tall sort of turtleneck. And she looks at you and as you approach, says, you must be one of my passengers.
Yes. We have 4 for the island today, please.
My name is Captain Angela Morecast.
Thank you for the first name, yes.
Of course.
How do the seas look today?
Bit choppy, but don't worry, you'll be fine.
I'm sure we're in very good hands.
I think Sylvia's like, you see her like speed walking on the deck. She wanted to beat Horace, but she didn't. And she sees him and she's like, oh! And then she gets up there and kind of like also gets in and also wants to talk to the captain. Hello. Good day.
Yes, hello. Horace like just walked away, and she's like loading crates and like checking things and like pulling rigging and stuff. She goes, yes. What? Were you another one of the other passengers?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do I need to check in with you? Or?
No, you can just get on the boat. Thank you. My name is Angela Morquez.
Pleasure.
But yes, you can welcome aboard. I believe we're just waiting on one more, Mr. Hodge. He's the one that I spoke to, arranged all of this.
Hodge is not here yet.
No, but if I know him, he might be a bit hungover.
Interesting.
Leofric was already on the boat. He comes up from
You all
from
beat
below
me.
deck.
She goes, "Oh God, where did you come from?"
Got here early.
Just in the shadows.
I didn't see you get on my boat.
Orwell would like to fall into step with Bill Hodge as
Okay.
we move to the dock.
Yeah, and you see, he is proceeding up. He's sort of, like halfway finishing getting dressed as he's walking, buttoning up his collar. He has his suit jacket sort of tucked under his arm. He looks a little worn out from maybe the night before, but if his old habits still carry over, you understand that he is a man who is fond of his drink.
I lean in close and, "Morning, Bill."
Morning, Orwell.
We doing this little boat tour today, huh?
Sure.
Excellent.
Sure you have your sea legs. Be a shame if anyone went overboard.
Interesting.
Interesting thing to say.
I mean, and this is
Is your hangover that bad
you just shouted in my ear.
I did.
Yes,
I
it's
did.
that bad.
Okay, well. I just wanted to say it's really good to see you, and slaps him on the back.
It's like hitting
Just
like,
a metal hand.
Hey, even with that metal hand, it's like hitting just like a slab of beef. Just like this guy is nothing but muscle.
Yeah.
And it's not even up here; it's down here. It's
Aw.
So I had to lean over to yell in his ear.
Right. He says, he kind of catches you before you guys get up the rest of the group, and he says, "Oh well, there's something off here about you being here. I don't know what it is, but don't make waves for me."
You're good, Bill. You're good.
All right. And yeah, you guys proceed up to the boat.
Just direct me to the nearest deck chair, please. Like to get this watery, thin sun we have through these clouds on the way to the island.
The only deck chair that we have on this ship is that one, and it is mine. Says the captain as you say that. Says, who are the two of you? I only had 3 passengers, supposedly.
Oh, they're with me. With B&H, of course.
And Hodge does come up and confirm that. So we had some late additions to our group. But yes, you will be paid for the extra 2 passengers. So yes, I suppose we should find our way there. So yeah, you guys all load up on the boat, and you guys get heading out to Holmouth Isle. And as you guys do, it is a gray and overcast day. There's just that slight misting of rain as you guys sail through. So it is a bit damp. You begin to really sort of feel it in your bones after a couple hours, but you guys can... There's a small below deck area. This boat is not big. It's effectively like a mid-size fishing boat. Easily crewable by one person, but you 5 being the passengers makes it a bit cramped. But yeah, you guys proceed. It is, believe it or not, a relatively safe journey.
No one fell overboard?
You can roll me a dex check if you want. See if you fall overboard.
Does Captain Angela bring by any small salty snacks midway through the
Oh my
voyage?
God.
She does not, unprompted. Would you like to ask for some?
Is there? I'm gonna knock on the window
Oh
from
my
inside the
God.
cabin.
He's so embarrassing.
And she just slides the window open.
Is there food service on this voyage?
Yes, it's self-serve.
I'll look around. Is there any?
No.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Self-supply, self-serve.
Yeah.
Bring your own snacks.
We'll have quite a hunger when we arrive in Bournemouth. There's no one else hungry.
Don't
Did you
try
expect
it.
more from
No.
B&H?
And she you see she reaches over and lifts up a nautical chart and grabs a piece of hardtack and hands it to you and says, there you go, love.
Well, thank you for the hospitality.
Of course.
I will. I have very large, sharp teeth, so I'll be like,
It is
As sperm whales do. Yes.
it is like a rock.
Oh no.
all right, man.
Sorry.
We'll get there.
Maybe. All right. So you guys begin to see Holmouth Isle loom on the distance. Not a big island, but not a small sandbar by any means. It's probably a few square miles. You guys see a very small dock sort of jutting off it. It looks as though as you approach the front of the island, it almost sort of crests up. And where you guys are approaching, you see sort of this dip along the bottom where it looks like the island sort of dips into the water. And along there you see just a small dock that looks like it could accommodate a ship about as big as yours, but probably not anything bigger. As you guys approach, Captain actually says, yes, I actually do all the supply runs out here. I'm usually the one bringing them anything that isn't fish, really. I also handle many of their shipments back to the mainland. I actually have a small shack on the island. I will be staying there during the course of your visit. So if you need anything, please feel free to ask.
If I may ask, what do you think of the whole business with the dead faith and the captain's role in it?
The bad captain. Bad captain wrecks his own ship.
It'd be very difficult, don't you think, to
Hit an island?
hit an old island with no warning, like it came out of nowhere?
It strikes me as a bit odd. I can understand fog, but
Yes.
You've never heard of that happening before.
what, people running ashore when there's no things say, lighthouses? No, never. This is quite out of the way. I suppose I can understand it, but any fisherman any captain even slightly familiar with the area at least knows the major islands around here, and this is...
Okay.
This is I would say it is a bit odd, but not unheard of.
Very good.
So have you seen the ghost lights?
Yes, I've seen the ghost lights. It's schools of fish. There's all sorts of strange things beneath the waves. I don't chalk it up to anything more than, I don't know, some strange trick of the light. I'm not one to go chasing them off into the water.
Quite. I am curious, though. How far off the coast of Holmouth are they?
Off the coast of Holmouth?
Yes, are they off?
Yes,
the
they're off the
islands?
coast.
Are they off the islands, or just the coast in general?
Just the coast in general.
All right.
Yeah.
How far away are they from where we are now?
Oh, perhaps a quarter mile, half mile, maybe.
Interesting.
How far away or what?
These ghost lights, where they
Oh.
largely reside. Do they reside in one place?
Oh, I've seen them about Holmouth Isle on occasions. I've seen them off the coast from time to time. Sure, it's just some sort of strange type of fish.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're seeing the ghost lights in the water, not.
Not above, no.
So they would never be mistaken for a lighthouse.
No, I would suppose
Or
not.
the trick of the fog and the reflection. And, yeah.
No, none of that. There are some strange things in the waters here, but nothing that you can't catch at the end of a line.
Do we have lodgings arranged? Hodge, do we have lodgings?
Yes, I spoke with Father Thomas Frayne, who's the man that we will be meeting up with, and there will be lodging accommodated, although with the late additions it might be a bit of a tight squeeze. I know that they don't have much room to offer, but I think they may have moved one or two people around to accommodate space.
I can be persuasive when I need to.
Yeah, or we could just send extras back to.
Or B&H could just pay for another spot.
That's right.
They may not. These people may not have it to live or have it to spare. Is all I'm saying. Unless we want to put up tents, or shove people out of their homes.
Either way is fine with me. So you can shove some people out.
Is this? Did the captain say that she's staying?
Yes.
She has a shack.
Is the ship not staying then with the captain?
The ship's staying.
Oh, okay.
You guys can stay. She looks around and she goes, "You guys can't stay on my boat."
We'll figure it out.
No, she actually looks at you guys. She says, "I suppose you're welcome to sleep on the ship if you'd like." But
Yes, well, it's something for these two to figure out. I'm going to go look at our real lodgings.
of course.
As a whaleman, I figured you would want to
Hang out on a boat?
stay on the boat.
Do whales normally sail on boats?
The feel of the sea.
Salty air.
No, I prefer a very comfortable bed.
How big is the pillow? For your giant whale head.
Granted. A sperm whale, say, its head is indeed 1/3 of its entire body. However, I'm a whaleman. Slightly different. And though my large blocky head does dominate my frame,
This is a horror one shot now. Get it together.
I didn't start it.
Yes, I'll go see about accommodations as well.
So where's this Father Frayne?
Yes, Father Frayne.
He's some sort of religious fellow?
Yes, he leads the congregation here on the island
Of
Holmouth.
of the Gashilla, or
Yes.
oh, we have to stay with them. Interesting.
Yes, they are who we were. They're the only population on the island.
And is there any kind of watering hole that, the locals hang out?
Oh no,
where we
they
can...
they don't drink.
Interesting. Do they hang out anywhere besides the church? Is that...
Yes. The captain kind of looks at you and says, "Just a heads up, these are quite simple folk.
Sure.
They weave nets and plant gardens for a living. They tend to their way of life. Not a lot of sitting about and chatting.
I see.
But that said, they're all lovely people. I'm sure you'll have no trouble stirring up conversation." Okay, so you guys
Seek out Father Frayne, I suppose.
you guys pull up the dock. unload off the squid, and begin walking up. It's a pretty short walk. It's maybe 50 yards from like the dock up to sort of like the edge of. You see these small bread box stilted houses that look like, you know, single family, like 4-person little buildings. You see that there's a couple pretty uniform rows that go down. And then at the very end, there is a somewhat larger, almost looks like a longhouse, that looks like it has been converted over into a church or a house of worship of some sort. You see kind of off at the top of the hill what looks like maybe another one of these bread box houses that is currently under construction. And you see people going about hoisting up beams and pulling rope and hammering in nails at certain points. And as you guys approach the village, you see a man in sort of a black sweater, again also sort of like graying, curlyish hair. He looks a bit not. He looks like a man of God, a man who has perhaps not lived the most martial life, but also is wiry enough to where you can see he's done physical labor before. And you even see him coming from what looks like where these houses are being built, like maybe he's assisting in some way. And as he comes down, he has his arms spread wide and says, our visitors, of course, finally, you're here. I was so excited to meet all of you.
Good day.
Pleased to meet you.
Yes, you too. And he goes around and he starts sort of shaking your guys' hands. William Hodge begins and says, Father, these are my associates.
Dr. Nightplum. I used to be a man of the cloth, too, at one point.
Really?
Yes.
And of what faith? May I ask?
Omnis, of course.
What was it?
Omnis, the order of our universe.
Quite interesting. Use sounds a bit too structured for me myself. The tides ebb and flow, and you have to be able to ebb and flow with them.
But they ebb and flow according to very precise rules.
Not around here, Doctor.
Oh, that's unusual.
Yes, they flow upwards.
But thank you for your hospitality.
Yes, of course. We're happy to have you here. This has all been quite a lot for our small community to handle. Suddenly, 80 people showing up, walking out drenched.
Oh, imagine.
But we were happy.
Quite a fright.
Very, I would say so. We were happy to help ply them with food and safe lodging.
Can I do an insight check on this
Just on this guy?
father?
Talking
Sure.
about
What do you
people
want? What
coming
do you want to
ashore.
know? What are you trying to incite?
I'm just inciting. I'm doing my job.
All right, just getting
Getting a feel.
vibe check.
Vibe check it. 22.
22.
As in, is there anything that he's covering? Like, I don't know. Like, he's talking about the people leave, the shipwreck and everything. And is there anything more to what he's saying that's not?
I would say yeah, for sure. Like, there is, but in that way that you can tell that he is putting on the fatherly show, like
Yeah.
a lot of sort of like
Like a youth pastor.
right. He's being extra nice. He's being extra accommodating and welcoming because you guys are guests. He gets that they are. Here's what you can tell on that 22 insight.
Okay.
Thomas Frame can tell that he is part of a religious group that people look at with a bit of skepticism and maybe
Sure.
they see them as kind of oddballs.
Mm-hmm.
So he is going out of his way to offset that as much as he can and make you guys feel welcome. And
He's love bombing us.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. He says,
Can I also do a perception check on this guy to see if there's any I'm just looking at what he's wearing and any markings or anything.
"Sure, you don't need a perception check for that one."
Yeah. Are we at a doorstep? Are we inside this building now?
No. You guys are still out sort of at the edge of this village.
Okay.
I just want to take him all in. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Perception check. If there's any markings, any tattoos, or any kind of religious kind of.
Sure.
And can I make
Iconography.
a perception check about just kind of the village, if people are looking at us, peering out windows,
Sure.
that sort of thing?
I got a dirty 20 when I'm looking him up and down.
Getting the up down.
Yep.
So you give him the up down. He's wearing what appears to be a pair of work boots.
Okay.
That are very well worn, caked in mud. You see he's wearing sort of rough, simple, leather pants that you see have been hand stitched back at certain points many times. Even his kind of sweater that he's wearing, that's a heavy sort of fisherman's sweater. You see small holes that have patches in them. And you see, I would say, probably very similar stuff on kind of going into your perception check for the town. 3. Okay.
I have very small blinky eyes on the sides of it.
It's
Stereoscopic. It's not
Yeah,
for
you have a big.
your glasses fog up.
Yeah.
Just immediately, your
The
glasses
physics
fog
of
up
the
immediately.
glasses just doesn't.
Does it go over top
Maybe.
or the front?
You just put them on like this. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Well, be that as may, I don't see anything.
Okay.
Horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would seem that this town is used to sort of hand making everything in hand. It's all maintained. Nothing goes to waste if it can be fixed.
But no other kind of unusual markings and.
No, not you see.
Cool.
But yeah, for free, even on a 3 perception check, yes, you do see that you guys are a bit of a spectacle here. People are still working, going about their day-to-day lives. You see some people hauling in sort of baskets of fish.
What time is it by this point?
It's probably about 3 in the afternoon. It's kind of hard to tell with the sun, but just based on how long you guys were traveling and what.
Sylvia's clock.
Sylvia already checked her stopwatch.
It's
Or
three-
Pocket.
pocket watch.
It's 3:05.
Okay.
3:05. She writes down.
I did. You laugh.
It could be important.
I know.
Maybe.
Time is a construct.
As am I.
Anyway. All right. So Father Frayne looks at you all and says, "But you all must be tired and probably a bit soggy from your journey over. Let me show you to where you'll be staying. It does appear there are a couple more of you than I thought, but if you all don't mind, our living conditions are a bit Spartan, admittedly, here. But if you don't mind sleeping on bedrolls, we can at least provide a roof over all of your heads."
Perfectly fine with me.
We had worse during the war.
Ah, you served in the
Indeed.
war.
Yes, we both did.
My father served, but I never quite. Wait, no, time-wise that wouldn't make sense. My father served in a different war. I
We
did
have
not.
many wars.
They're all much the same, sadly.
Yes. War, was it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Say it again.
We can't. All right.
All right, spooky times.
What horrific
time.
things await us?
All right. So yeah, he shows you guys to sort of one of these small bread box houses. that is very, very close to the sort of longhouse building. Says, well, these are your accommodations. I will be staying up there. That is our place of congregation, but my quarters are also there.
And the shipwreck, located.
Oh, yes, around the back of the island. Admittedly, it is a couple hours to get around there
I was wondering
and
if
back.
there's a way to get there. You've horses or.
I'm afraid by foot it is quite treacherous to get there.
Okay.
The easiest point of egress is to take a boat around the
I
island.
see. That would be fine.
Yes.
Such a boat available.
Oh yes, of course. I have someone who can take you around, perhaps tomorrow morning. Yagra, if you guys see a giant, strapping, big, burly woman come up to you guys. She's got like the shaved, what's it called, like the undercut, and just sort of like the top knot. And you see she has like face tattoos and just like the wraparound. And they're all very like nautical themed. Like you see sort of like she just has like an anchor on her chin that almost seems to come up. She's wearing just like a sleeveless tunic that is worn out, work pants and similar work boots. And she approaches the group and says, "These the outsiders." And Father Frayne says, Now. These are our guests. These are fine folk who are here to clear up the mess with the ship. And hopefully get it out of our hair so we can get back to our lives. But yes, this is Yagra. She will, and she does not, no handshaking. She's arm crossed the whole time. Just kind of sizing you guys up.
Sylvia's also crossing her arms.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Yagra.
Good day.
Almost evening. Good day, I suppose. Kind of making it in under the wire there, but I'll take it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll be taking you lot around the back half of the island tomorrow morning.
Is there a reason that Angela doesn't take us?
I'm afraid her ship is a bit too big. This will have to be by a small rowboat.
Rocky. So a rocky area.
It's quite rocky. The hull of the ship, as you can tell, as you'll be able to see, took quite a bit of damage traversing it. I believe it's part of what marooned them here. Was they hit the rocks first and almost sort of trapped themselves in this cove.
And so the survivors they had to climb over the island. How did they get to it here?
Oh, we brought them back boatload by boatload. It was a very long and arduous process getting all of the
How
survivors.
did you know that they were back there?
Well, one of our one of our fishing vessels was
Saw them
Yes,
run around. Very good.
we do tend to fish around the island.
That makes sense. Well, Yagra, you seem perfectly capable with those big arms of yours of rowing us around tomorrow.
Quite so.
Yes, well, get ready to unpack and...
Yes, please settle in. We do have sort of community dinners up at the Longhouse.
Lovely.
Yes, so that will be in a couple of hours. We do have a nice thaned fin tuna stew. Unfortunately, options are a bit limited, but it is quite good.
You do have calamari, though, don't you?
Calamari, I'm afraid not.
I think the stew will be
It will be
just
lovely,
fine
I'm
for
sure.
this one.
We might be able to find some sort of
No,
calamari for it.
don't go to too much trouble.
Of course, I will ask around and see what I can find.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay. So you guys settle into this small house, and it's like living room, area that looks like there's a bedroom in the back and a bedroom to the side, and then a small ladder that seems to go up with access to a third bedroom up top. It's a bit bigger than the others and a bit more open. But it looks like it could pretty easily accommodate the five of you. As William Hodge does join you guys in the house.
Well, I shall take one of these lower rooms. It seems to be rather tight fit to get around here, and I don't want to go up a ladder.
Oh, yes, of course. Horace, why don't you take the bedroom in back? Looks like that door frame is perhaps a bit bigger.
Just if I go, yes, straight through.
So you got to line up your head.
Moving the couch around. Just
I don't mind a ladder, so
angle it.
I'm a quite good climber.
All right. So you guys get all settled in. Put down your personal effects.
I do believe we need to discuss how we'd like to continue this investigation. Who we need to talk to. Is the ship the first thing we want to?
I believe if you have questions about this Alice, we should do that in the morning first before we depart. Because
I was
once
thinking this evening at dinner.
Oh, that too. I mean, the ship will just be the ship.
Right.
That we want to speak with. Yes.
I think dinner is the best time to do
Communal meals,
that. Absolutely.
private conversations.
Okay.
All right. So if there's nothing else you guys want to do, we are going to move to dinner.
Yeah.
All right. You guys proceed up to the longhouse as the sun sort of begins to set. It is a bit later in the year, so it's a bit chilly. The sun's going down a little sooner. And you guys see that you're not the only groups to be heading up to the longhouse. You see a lot of people are coming out of these houses and sort of proceeding up. And people are sort of taking in the spectacle of all these people who are dressed very differently than them and look very differently from them. You do see a wide variety of races represented here. Human is far from the majority. Yagra was a half-orc woman. It looks like Thomas Frayne is just a regular old bread and butter human. But
What are they dressed like? Do they have kind of a uniformity to their dress?
yeah, a bit. It's not like a uniform, but like a lot of the dress looks similar, and it's very simple and it's very plain. But
Yeah,
looks,
you said handmade or whatever.
Yeah, it
like
all
this
looks
really-
handmade. You would guess that they are as self-sustaining here as they can be.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Are we entering the?
Yes,
Okay.
you guys enter the longhouse here, and you do see one large central area that looks like you see what the hell is it called? Pulpit. You see a pulpit sort of at the back of the room that has been pushed back. You see some pews that have been moved to the sides so that a long table could be brought out. A couple long tables. And you see people already sort of sitting and speaking. And as you guys walk in, you see Father Frayne at the end of one. And immediately stands up and waves you guys over and says, please, come, join me on this end of the table. I'm happy to have you as good company for my meal this evening.
Is Yagra there?
She is. And it looks like you see her kind of like scoot. Fran actually looks at Yagra and says, "Yagra, would you mind just scooting down, just so I can speak to her?" And she's sort of like, without saying anything, just sort of like scoots down a little bit.
Can I try to whisper to Sylvia? Do you know what Alice looks like?
Yes, as I had previously told you. Noggin is not quite what it used to be, is it?
I meant that more as do you see her now?
Go and give me investigation.
Cool. 22 again.
I mean, yeah, you see some people here that would fit her description.
And Alice was human, right?
Yes.
Do you have a description? I mean, you just have kind of physical description,
I
not
just
a
have
portrait or anything, right?
No.
No portrait. I'll relay that. I'll say there are women that have similarities. So just have to ask around.
Yeah, so you guys join
Yes.
Father Thomas Frame, and
So Horace starts digging into his food, but are there any rituals that are supposed to happen before people begin eating?
yes, you see that the soup is brought out, and people are.
Well, this looks lovely.
You see no one else is eating. And Father Frame kind of. And you see he does stand. He says, "My congregation, as you can tell, we do have some very esteemed guests with us here this evening. Yes, I do speak of you, Mr. Blackwraith, and Dr. Nightplume, Miss Hawthorne, Mr. Blackwood, Mr. Hodge. We are happy to have all of you here this evening." And you see everyone sort of gives a light applause to that. Says, "Please won't you join us as we bow our heads in prayer and thanks to Gashala for this bounty, as she delivers it to us every day so that we may live, as she did to my father when he first washed ashore here. It sustained him during his times of strife when he thought he wouldn't make it. And even to this day, those gifts carry through to us. So please, dig in and enjoy the bounty of the sea."
As I respectfully bow my head, I will, though, clutch an emblem that is just below my vest.
What does this emblem look like?
Well, I suppose it might peek out from time to time. It's a tie clip on my tie. Actually, it's a tie clip. At the front of it is a wooden circle, and there's a little metal bar that goes across it this way, and strung upon the bar is a gray stone bead. Just hold on to that.
Are people closing their eyes or?
Yeah,
just bowing?
you see there are some hands held, head bowed, eyes closed.
Can I, while that's happening, also look around the room and just kind of see either insight, perception, or investigation, whatever you prefer. I'm looking for anyone that looks nervous or scared, or anyone that isn't really into the prayer.
That'll be an insight.
Okay. 17.
17.
Anybody?
You see some small children who are very clearly.
And also, yeah.
Well, yeah, he's counted the small children.
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry.
I don't get the insult.
There wasn't one really. But no, you see, you see a couple kids who are kind of fidgety and not really into the prayer. But by and large, a lot of the adults you see are.
No one not bowing their head? Okay. Okay.
Huh?
Well, besides him.
Yeah. Besides Leofford,
Okay.
Yagra opens her eye and looks at you. She sees that you don't.
He just stares. Leofford. This is more internal, but
Sure.
Leofford feels that if he does believe anything is going on here that is of supernatural, spiritual, he doesn't want to involve himself in it at all.
Sure.
In an attempt to not be vulnerable to it.
Sure. Makes total sense.
This is the evening. This is the afternoon. You know,
It's evening, right?
It's evening.
yes, it's
Yeah.
evening. It's up
It's getting to like early mid-evening.
I think just because we're all curious about what it is they do here, I'm going to open my mind in a way to query Omnis, the great order above all of us, and see if within 60 feet of me I can detect any celestial, fiend, or undead forces.
Okay.
As I'm kind of closing my eyes and nodding my head, I'm reaching out.
Sure. And within that 60 feet, you do not detect any. What is it? Fiend,
Celestial, fiend, or undead. Okay. Very good.
All right. Okay. So the stew is served. The father sort of like looks at all of you and says, "So tell me of your homelands, please. I feel like we so rarely get visitors here. Where do you all come from? Who were you before this? What brought you here?"
Oh, well, here specifically, the job. But, yeah, that's...
Yes, I'm aware, but how did you find yourselves working for? I suppose better question. How did you find yourselves working for B&H?
Oh, well, I don't really work for B&H. They hire me on. So I'm more of a
So they're paying you to do something.
yes, but I'm not like on their regular payroll if that makes sense. I work for other people as well.
So they're not paying you.
They are paying me.
So you're on.
Temporary payroll of B&H at
More
the
of a
moment.
contractor.
Contract.
It's a very difficult operation assessing the value of all these wrecked goods in the ship, and we need as many heads as we can put together.
Oh yes. Well, looking at something and
Oh.
assessing its true worth.
And now
I'm
that you mentioned,
quite familiar with that.
and now that you mentioned the ship, so funny you
Yes,
mentioned that.
the whole reason we're here.
So funny. So were you able to talk with a lot of the survivors, and they all stayed within one area? Did they stay under this roof?
Stay. There's so many people and so little
we had
space.
to set up some temporary lodging. Some of us were, of course, more than happy to give up our houses. As you can see, even around here, we moved aside some of the pews and tables, and we were able to set up some small cots just to temporarily house them until
Yes.
someone was able from the mainland to come and help get them to shore. But I myself, I spoke with many of the survivors.
I see. Was any of those survivors with happen chance to be go by the name of Alice?
You can go and give me an insight check if you
Yeah,
like.
can I give? Because you acted that way. I'm gonna use a different class.
Oh, phooey, and that's when I get my. Oh wait, that's a 9. Okay, well, 13.
18.
18? He checks his memory. It says Alice. Alice. I mean, I suppose there may have been an Alice at some point. Admittedly, the names, there were so many. At a certain point, I sort
She was
of
a young
lost
woman,
Not named Beatrice.
not named Beatrice, which should really
Strange, it's
rule out.
weird.
Which should really rule out a lot of
Right.
a lot of women. Very good. She was maybe this will maybe spark your memory. She was on her way to Burnshire. Any mention of
I can't say that I do. On your 18 insight, there's just half a beat of panic.
I'm going to kind of kick you under the table a little bit.
I'm actually going to. You hear in your mind. You say, which you know.
Which I would know.
Yeah. You. It's been a while.
Yes.
But you hear in your mind. Did you get anything from that chat?
Kick your foot.
You can respond in your mind.
Oh, I can? Okay.
Yeah. It's a message.
No,
You just keep kicking me, and I'm like,
damn it.
and then I say it again. I'm like,
Stop
you
kicking
can
me.
speak back
Rusty,
to me
he
in
forgot
your
how to do
mind.
it.
Yes, I said, you seem to have touched a nerve there, Glenn.
Very well. Maybe I'll just ask around and.
Yes. So many
perhaps-
people. So
oh,
many
absolutely. You know.
Oh, well, I simply would ask if you... I can speak to our congregation here. Please, you're welcome to speak with them. Of course, I wouldn't want you to feel isolated here. But if you wouldn't mind, this has been quite a strain on my congregation. And please, just understand these are simple townsfolk
Absolutely.
who were happy to help, but probably know very little.
Well, you know, a few questions and
Of course.
getting to know some people. That's religious, right?
I think
Talking
that's
to-
just a people
Talking
thing.
to people and getting to know.
Yes,
it's a
I think-
religion thing.
Yeah. Well, that is part of religion, but I think it's also
You know,
just part
congregating and,
Yeah.
the pulpit and
of course. And what better to congregate around but God?
symbols.
Taken together, yes, I suppose that is religious.
Eating together, you know. So yeah,
I think you're just describing hanging out.
possible. I don't know if Sylvia hangs out, so she probably
Sylvia's real
doesn't.
lonely.
Yes, oh, I don't know what this is.
Honestly, she doesn't. Like, she just maybe just thinks it's a religion thing. She doesn't really hang out with
Right.
people.
Speaking in a friendly manner with someone.
Yeah,
Has made a lot of friends since Horace.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And is there anything else that we're just eating and speaking?
Yeah. Other than that, it's a very...
Did they find any calamari?
Unfortunately not. You know what? Actually, hold on.
Come on, luck roll.
There's like they bring you like a single small like fried squid.
Oh my God! What a lovely topping to this stew. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. It was all we could find on such short notice. I think it was caught in one of the nets at some point.
Bycatch, I suppose. Well, thank you so much. It's very gracious of you.
Of course, happy to provide.
Yes, I'm happy to receive.
Happy.
Well,
We're
then
all
we are
so happy.
we are both very happy. All right.
Is when dinner happened, was there a bell or like a
Yeah, there was
clang
like
of some sort,
there was like
like
a dinner bell.
okay?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
are people leaving of their own volition, or does it seem like they're waiting for like to be dismissed?
You do see that there are some people. It doesn't look like it's not like class rules where it's like, you know, they let you know when the food's ready, but you don't have to like stick around until. Yeah, you do see a couple people who have like eaten. It looks like they get up and leave. A lot of the people who look like probably a lot of people that you saw working on like the housing construction earlier. Probably had long days, came down, ate something, and are now going home to sleep. But yeah.
Very well.
Yes, well, perhaps we should all turn in this evening and go and...
Yes, briefly though. Do I see any other whale people?
No. You are one of a kind in that sense. All right, well...
Thank you so much for the dinner. Is there anything? Do people partake in any activity after dinner time?
Recreational communal
Any
gatherings
recreation
or
community gathering or
Oh, yes, well,
more prayer?
some sew or knit or whittle or take up some hobby, usually out on their
Together?
porch.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. But they're all very, very personable. If you'd like to have a conversation with them, I'm sure they would happy to ply you with any.
I'd love to whittle.
I've been known to knit. So, when I'm looking around this, okay, you might have already mentioned it when we arrived. So the island is basically just at the port is like very close to like all the houses
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah, it's like
it's
50
all
yards.
just like it's all together.
Yeah, it's all very
It's like shacks
clustered and small.
and it's like
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So basically, if you just walk the port, it's everything.
pretty much.
Okay. I'm gonna do that, and yeah, I think I'm gonna do that and just walk around and see if there's any. I'm gonna specifically look for women that look like Alice,
Okay.
but or anybody that looks very old, like has been around a while.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe knows the ins and outs of this island and stuff like that.
Sure.
What do you think? Investigation, perception?
Yeah. Investigation. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
I got a 2 on the dice. Are you helping me?
Yes. Well, I mean, like, what are you looking for, Alice?
Yeah, I'm looking like for people that look like Alice. I'm just like walking and I'm looking for like, or anybody I guess can help me, but like I'm looking for, and I think I would share that with everybody and tell them like, I think I'm gonna look around and look for someone that might know more about the island and maybe, I don't know, comings and goings and maybe missing people or whatever.
I might go off and do my own thing.
Okay.
So you might need a different partner.
All
for
right.
that.
Then I got a 2.
Okay.
I got a 6.
Yeah, unfortunately you see a lot of people I feel like there are a couple people that you saw at dinner who were like, oh, that could be Alice, and then like you walk past them a little later and you get a little closer look and you're like, oh, her eyes are blue, not green.
Okay.
Or like, oh, her hair is like, it looked blonde in the light, but I think you do, even on that 6, I think you do rule out a couple of people that you saw that you thought could be her, and you're like, well, details were slightly off.
Okay. She's gonna go. Is there any old ladies anywhere? Hanging out, knitting?
There's old ladies all over the place.
Are any of them like hanging out on their porch, like knitting or sewing?
Yeah,
Okay.
one of them's whittling.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to this person.
Whittling
and,
woman.
Like, hello there. I'm Sylvia.
Huh?
I'm Sylvia.
What?
Sylvia.
Stacy?
Sure. Do you mind if I join you?
I only got the one knife, and I don't think whittling's kind of two one person thing.
It is. Is there anybody else sitting with her?
You're slipping into the accent so hard I can already tell. No, it does look like she's sitting alone.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go to another porch with some other old ladies.
Any porch in the storm.
Let's give her a hand. No.
Yeah, I mean.
On a 6, it's all
Okay.
single little
So I'm
old
just
ladies.
walking around, I guess. Yeah.
I'm going to lean into a little something here. With my background, with ear to the ground, it says I have a underworld contact in any city.
Nice.
I'm going to put that to the test here. But what I'm looking for,
Okay.
as a former ruffian, troubled youth, I'm going to look for what these kids that were a little squirrely, what are they getting up to during the communal time? And that's where I'm going to try to get my contact, is with my with the kids.
Okay. They're playing hoopstick.
Yes, familiar. Very.
Yeah.
In my youth, I was very good hoop sticker.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see a couple of kids running around pushing a hoop with a stick.
You could bust some hoop stick moves and gain their trust.
I will get in the general vicinity and I will prestidigitate
Nice.
some lights upon their hoop.
Okay. And are you doing this are you trying to be stealthy about this, or are you...
No.
Okay.
I'm on vacation.
Okay. Alrighty. So you prestidigitate and all the kids go... Like, there's that look of just like... like the first time when you're a kid and you see someone doing street magic.
Yeah.
You're just like, how did you do that? And they all come up and they go, wow. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, before you even have a chance, they're like pulling on your arms and looking at you and they're like, are you made of metal? And
I am.
and you know what? Go ahead and give me just actually, before I say it, go ahead and give me a just general charisma check.
17.
17? Yeah. It all holds and then some. They're sort of like asking about you, like, where did you come from? Did you come on the boat? Were you on the squid?
Yeah, I will look for something to sit down upon, a box or a crate or anything that's nearby,
Sure.
And just start answering their questions for them and talking to them.
Okay.
And prestidigitation lasts for an hour, so I can, I can ring one of their heads with lights. We can use this for whatever they want and enjoy spending time with them.
You see, as you continue to do magic, occasionally one or two parents does come up and like pull their kid away.
Oh, sure.
So they sort of like give you like this sort of strange look as they see you doing magic.
And then, again, as long as there's still a couple kids left. So, shipwreck. You guys were here for the wreck. That must have been exciting.
Oh yeah, there were so many adults here after that. They were all over. They were all up in the longhouse.
What did you guys get up to? Because they couldn't pay attention to you guys. What did you guys get up to?
Us? Oh well, I mean we had our hoop sticks. Mostly we did a bunch of that. We threw rocks.
You threw rocks?
We threw rocks.
Oh yeah.
We threw rocks at his parent at his house because his parents weren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't
That's
know.
awesome. That's so
There was-
great.
We left dirt marks on the outside from the rocks.
Yeah.
They didn't even know we threw rocks at their house.
Yeah. That's great. I used to do stuff like that too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I hope I still throw rocks whenever I grow up.
Yeah. Oh, you can.
My parents keep saying I have to grow up and stop throwing rocks at things.
Nah. Nothing like that. So, everybody from the shipwreck, were they were just all over the place, huh?
They were everywhere. They were
Were your parents really concerned about them?
everybody in the village was. We were all trying to help them. I mean, it must have been so scary getting lost out there with out in the fog with the lights.
Yeah. Oh, you guys see the lights?
Yeah, we see them all the time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not all the time. They always seem to show up like. Sometimes Father Frank gets sick,
Oh.
and sometimes like he can't do like the service in the morning sometimes, but he's usually fine pretty soon. He doesn't stay sick long, but it kind of seems like sometimes when he gets sick, it seems like sometimes the ghost lights will show up.
Oh. So like he's not around. He's sick.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
He's really strong.
Yeah?
Really smart. Father
Wow.
Frayne is like the best.
Cool. You would never throw rocks at the big house, right?
No.
Right.
No, never.
Okay.
And then one of the kids nudged him and says, you threw a rock at it once. He's like, shut up. He goes, anyways, I should probably go. And the kid who nudged him is like, yeah, you already said we're probably talking too much about about the village and stuff. It's like, but anyways, we should probably go.
I form the lights into an arrow pointing back to the houses, and I'm like,
And they try and like grab the arrow and it's just like, it's just light. Like cats with laser pointers. That's what kids are to me.
it's pretty much the same.
Right. Okay. And yeah, they run off.
During this period of time, I would like to walk down to the shore and perhaps onto the dock, someplace where I can look into some depth of water. And perhaps there's some sort of sea life flitting about beneath the surface.
Sure.
May I try to charismatically get the attention of some sea life?
How?
Well, you see, that's a very good question. I don't mean to brag, but I am an emissary of the sea. And so I do have the ability to communicate to any sort of swimming thing. And though they may not be very smart, they get the general idea of what I'm saying. And unfortunately, they cannot respond. But who knows?
I'll roll a luck check. See what kind of there are little. You see like on the dock, you see a couple like barnacles. They're sort of crusted to the side.
Barnacles, very good. And they do come out. They have little plumy things that come out. And say, oh, hello, little chaps. What?
And you get that as barnacle for what's up.
Yeah. So it's a lovely evening, isn't it? How do you feel about... I heard the ghost lights were coming here. How do you feel about that?
Those stocks like shrink in immediately.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. I meant somewhere else. It's perfectly fine. You're perfectly safe. Well, have a good evening. Thanks for the chat.
They wave.
All right, I'll rejoin the group.
Leofric. So, towards the center of the island, are we looking at forests?
Yes, yes. Forest sort of like rough not footpaths, but foothills. That seem pretty rocky.
I would like to go to the edge of the forest, if I could break off
Sure.
from the group.
Sure.
Similar to what Horace was trying to accomplish earlier, I can use primeval awareness. So as an action, I can sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile of myself.
Okay. Does it give you number or range or anything like that, or just that they're within a mile of you?
This feature doesn't reveal the creature's location or number.
Okay.
So yes, I would like to go ahead and do that. I do. So it is up to 6 miles if it's in my favorite terrain.
Okay.
My favorite terrain is coast.
Okay.
So I don't know if
Yeah, we'll count that.
Yeah. Kind of
On an island?
Yeah.
Because where I'm looking is technically the forest.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coastal island.
You do get a ping of something. Something deep and aberrant. Somewhere within the mile of this island.
So, the Elfric is just kind of at the side of the edge of the forest, just sort of silently feeling the presence, or just trying to get a feel for his surroundings and everything, and just kind of silently standing there. He marks his presence.
And as you reach out and feel, really, this thing, whatever it is on this island, you feel it reach out and see you in turn. And I think that's where we're going to end the first episode of Dead Faith. See you next time. See how far these sunken soldiers get. That's not the one I'm going with.
We'll workshop a couple more.
Yeah.
Sunken soldiers.
No, I don't like that. Cut that, Doug, please.
And that's the end.